Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Bolo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivachakacharya Divine Grace Lazy Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitila Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivachakacharya Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 4, Text 22. 22, right? Ije Sayamedayar Adhyaya Jnanam Isharam Ije Sayamedayar Adhyagyam Isharam Mahavibhutyo Pachutang Twanga Dakshinai Maha Vibhutyo Pachitanga Dakshinai Tatair Vashishta Shita Gautamadibhir Tatair Vashishta Shita Gautamadibhir Dhanvanya Vishratam Asho Saraswataim Dhanvanya Vishratam Asho Saraswatim Ije Shayamedhair Adhijagyamisharam Mahavibhutyo Pachitanga Dakshinai Tateva Shishya Shita Gautamadibhir Dhanvanya Vishrotam Asho Saraswatim. AJ worshipped Ashwamedha by performing the horse sacrifice yagyas. Adi yagyam, to satisfy the master of all yagyas. Ishwaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mahavibhutya, with great opulence. Upachita anga dakshinai, with all prescribed paraphernalia and contributions of dakshina to the brahmanas. Tatai executed Vashishta Ashita Gautama Adibhi by such brahmanas as Vashishta, Ashita and Gautama. Danvani, in the desert. Avishrotam, inundated by the water of the river. Asho, Maharaj Ambarish. Saraswatim, on the bank of the Saraswati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the desert countries where there flowed the river Saraswati, Maharaj Ambarish performed great sacrifice like the Asameda Yajna, and thus satisfied the master of all Yajnas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such sacrifices were performed with great opulence and suitable paraphernalia, and with contributions of dakshina to the brahmanas, who were supervised by great personalities like Vashishta, Sita and Gautama, representing the king, the performer of the sacrifices. Purport. When one performs ritualistic sacrifices as prescribed in the Vedas, one needs expert brahmanas, known as Yajna brahmanas. Kali Yuga, however, there is a scarcity of such brahmanas. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, the sacrifice recommended in Shastra is Sankirtan Yajna. Yajna Sankirtanaya Prayar Yajantihi Sumedasa. Instead of spending money unnecessarily on performing yajnas, impossible to perform in this age of Kali because of the scarcity of Yajna brahmanas. One who is intelligent performs Sankirtan Yajna. Without properly performed yajnas to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there will be scarcity of rain. Yajna bhavati parjannai. Therefore, the performance of the yajna is essential. Without yajna, there will be a scarcity of rain. And because of this scarcity, no food grains will be produced, and there will be famines. It is the duty of the king, therefore, to perform different types of yajnas, such as the Asameda Yajna, to maintain the production of food grains. Annat bhavanti bhutani. Without food grains, both man and animals will starve. Therefore, yajna is necessary for the state to perform, because by yajna, the people in general will be fed sumptuously. The brahmanas and the yajnika priest should be sufficiently paid for the expert service. This payment is called dakshina. Ambarish Maharaj, as the head of the state, performed all these yajnas through great personalities like Vashishta, Gautama and Asita. Personally, however, he was engaged in devotional service, as mentioned before. Savai mana Krishna padaravindayo. The king or head of the state must see that things go on well under proper guidance, and he must be an ideal devotee, as exemplified by Maharaj Ambarish. It is the duty of the king to see that food grains are produced even in desert countries, what to speak of elsewhere. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Picharini Visheshini Vadi Pashtata Deshtarine Panchakarvata Roshya Kipasine Vavachapatita Nam Pavaniya Vya Vaishnava Vya Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is the chapter entitled Ambarish Maharaj offended by the Durvasa Muni. So this is a description of Ambarish Maharaj. He is an ideal king and a Vaishnava. And it also explained in Bhagavad Gita that the kings, the saintly kings who are devotees, not just kings, they're devotees, they perform yagyas and they understood the needs of the society and therefore they perform yagyas to engage the people of the country in devotional service. So they're not just kings, but they're also kings, Vaishnava kings, who engage the citizens in serving Krishna. That is the duty, it's mentioned here. The duty of the king is to make sure that the citizens, not only they are materially well fed and taken care of, but that also the spiritual needs are taken care of. It is not just we go around give food for free to make people they're fed, so their stomachs fed. But we are giving prasadam because it's spiritual food. So the idea behind is this Krishna, is we are giving Krishna. That is yajna. The real yajna for this age, Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, is not simply chanting mantras or doing any sacrifices mentioned, but the real sacrifice is to perform Sankirtan Yajna, chanting the holy names. That is the essential process for this age, Kali Yuga. And Prabhupada time and time explains in the different purposes the needs for chanting Hare Krishna. But that is the Yuga Dharma. That is the real duty. The real duty is to chant Hare Krishna. Even though we have deity worship, we have food distribution, prasadam distribution, archa vigraha, worship of the deity. All these things are important, but the most important thing is to make people chant Hare Krishna, Sankirtan Yajna. Even when you have the deity worship, we are always chanting Hare Krishna. Even if you do perform sacrifices, yagyas, what's the important in that the main mantra for to utter those mantras is the chanting Hare Krishna. Lost my glasses in Vrindavan. This is made in Vrindavan. So corny. Got it in 5 minutes. Here you are. 1,000 rupee. I can't even see the writing even. You can see Krishna, only Krishna, because you made it Vrindavan. But Krishna I can see with these glasses. Now I can't see even you. So, the duty of the Brahmanas is to chant mantras, but they're also expert not only chanting in mantras, but they're also expert at preaching Krishna consciousness, the philosophy. They're well versed in the philosophy. And Ambarish Maharaj here is the ideal king because he was best in everything. And at the same time, he was super humble. It's not that we have a position, we walk around chest out here. We know behind it's because we are here because of the mercy of Krishna and Prabhupada. And the humility is the quality of a devotee. The prime jewel quality of any devotee, if he claims to be a devotee, is humility. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Trinara Pisuni Chena. And you can see here, Ambarish Maharaj, he was so great devotee of Krishna. He is never offended. And he made sure everyone in the citizen that they were completely satisfied. Not false promises like today the kings make. They don't have a king, but they vote. Right now this vote is coming up. If you don't vote, they fine you. So the idea is to make sure that the king is devotee of Krishna. And it's happening to the world today that there are important people in the world, they're taking up Krishna consciousness by the mercy of Prabhupada. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur said one day will come when the judges will be wearing tilak. And that's already happening. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Bhaktivedanta Thakur said that one day there will be devotees coming from all over the world chanting Hare Krishna in Mayapur. And that's already happening. So the idea behind everything is the blessing of the Vaishnava, is the mercy of the Vaishnavas. This is the real duty. Everybody has a duty. Duty to your family, duty to the country. But they forget the real duty. Not you give charity. But charity is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. There's a time, place, circumstances where you give charity to the Brahmanas for their mantras, their sacrifice they do. But Ambarish Maharaj is perfect. He's doing devotional service. So when he gives something to a devotee, because they will not misuse, they use their funds to spread Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, if you get money, print books. I get money, I immediately buy a ticket to travel somewhere. Use that money to serve Krishna. Go traveling and preaching. We don't travel just for sightseeing, isn't it? Sometimes, even as devotees, you want to take your family out, go somewhere. But what is there to see? Everywhere you go, is always they have the same thing, parks, and it's so boring. Nothing like going to Holy Dham, where I just came from. That's what I'll get to. First time I went to Vrindavan was 1975, where you can drink the water from the Jamuna, and you can see the sand underneath it. And when you walk out of the temple, you can see forest on both sides. And you want to see peacock, and nowadays you have to go to Varsana. It used to be peacock on top of the Krishna Balar Mandir. And there's so much construction going on. They say you must smear yourself in the dust of the holy dham. Now you get only construction dust. I was out with like 6 days of program. They had programs for 6 days. And your ears and nose or eyes were filled with dust from all the... I had to take a really good shower at the end of the day. But still, that Vrindavan is still there. People are still mad. People come from Delhi and Agra and all places around India. Usually in Australia, a place like, they go to sightseeing. But they're still coming to Vrindavan. They want to build their home in Vrindavan. And our temple, ISKCON, is the place of a preaching center. You don't need to go out. The temple's packed every day. For Mangalarati every day, they all have 200-300 people waiting. You can't get in if you come late. And for senior people, they have a bit of space in the front of the deity, separated by rope. The people are eager to serve Krishna, because this is the work of the Acharyas, the work of Prabhupada. And it's here, Ambarish Maharaj. It goes back. Dharmaketra, Kurukshetra. India is a place of religious place. In Krishna's time, people are flocking from everywhere to come and see Krishna. They don't mind to get squashed in between the people as long as they get to see a glimpse of Krishna's lotus face, Krishna's lotus form, Krishna's beautiful form. I was there for 6 days. I think I had enough. I was like, I want to come back here. But once I come here, you feel like, oh, I wish I was there longer. Because you get so fed up here with all these ignorant people walking around you, like dead, flopping dead. They're moving but they're dead actually. Just life. Just somehow they have a little bit of life. They're flapping. But those people are in Vrindavan. When you come out of the temple in Krishna Balaram Mandir, it's like a Loi Bazaar there. You don't need to go to Loi Bazaar anymore. It's just shops right there. Everything they know what ISKCON people need, and they have it. You don't need to go all the way. And we usually need, dhoti, kurta, bead bag, neck beads. If you got a new neck beads, bargained it for 1,000 rupees or for 1,200 rupees. Got it for 900. This is tulasi. Sometimes they cheat you, neem, neem tree, not tulsi. And it's not very smooth. I'll make it smooth by chanting. So Krishna consciousness is there already in our temple. You don't need to go out if you're in India. People are coming from so far away, and they had a boat festival. I've never seen such boat festival in the world. Compared to our one, it's like so mesmerizing. They filled the courtyard with water. I got the videos. And they had a lotus leaf on the top of the water and sprinkled all rose petals. So it's like it doesn't look like water. It's like you're walking on a rose petal. And you know how the courtyard is not very big. And the boat itself, it was so decorated as if like 5,000 years ago when Krishna was there. It's so beautiful. Radha Krishna, you can see, when you look at the Radha Krishna, small Radha Krishna, Shamsundar, Didi, they're just smiling at you. If you look closely, they're smiling at you. And so they had 2 areas where the boat will stop and have prasadam, like offering. And if you go around it really quick, it's just 5 minutes, not even that. But it took them almost an hour to go around because they are doing offering on the way. Such devotion. And people are packed around. I came a little bit late, so they had seats for Prabhupada disciples. And so luckily we got a seat. But that was amazing. So if you're living in Vrindavan, you feel that ecstasy. And when they built that temple, Prabhupada wanted that the temple ready 1974. And it was so difficult to get the land because the Brahmanas didn't want to give to the Westerners who have lectures and stuff. So everything was very miraculous and it happened. And he says that Prabhupada approached one famous person and they were devotees of Krishna. So they had so there people are telling, don't give them. But because Prabhupada had all the foreign disciples. So what he did, so he was very confused. So he wrote one piece of paper, yes or no, and offered to the deity. And the paper had a yes, it was moved, and it was closer to deity. There's some indication. And that means, yes means give the land to ISKCON, to Prabhupada. So people, or whatever they were saying, the deities have already answered. The Radha Krishna deity at their home, those people that own the land. That's how we got the land. and then the Gunda, so many things. So Prabhupada was in a hurry to open the temple. And construction, so they wanted to open 1974. They told Prabhupada everything's ready. So when Prabhupada came, they said, nothing is ready. Everything everywhere. So they need still one more year. That's how they opened 75. It was amazing, the story is told. And they had that deep sink ground where they do the boat festival. It's because when you dig a ground and you have all this dirt where you want to put somewhere. So they use all the extra earth to cover the top layer. So the deep ground, Prabhupada said, leave it there. We'll have whole festival there in the future. Prabhupada knew they would have boat festival. So people can sit there, and that's why it's deep down there, Vrindavan. And Prabhupada wanted that, like Mayapur, they have 8 gopis next to Radha Samsundar. But there's no space for 8 gopis. That's why they had Lalita and Vishaka. Now you know why. So on the day where we had the installation, inauguration of the deity just now, 50th anniversary, they put 8 gopis. They just stick them somewhere, just to please Prabhupada. And they had the same menu of the feast that they had in 1975. Very simple. Like Prabhupada always wanted samosa, kachori, halava, puri, and feast and sweet rice. They had that menu. And then they didn't have like the dress, like the way they dress the deity today, with all the fancy dressing. They just had a crown. And so on that day, if you see the deity was dressed just crown, because they wanted to do exactly how they dressed 1975. So everything was geared towards pleasing Prabhupada. It was really amazing. And so all our temples, all over India especially, are in the city areas. Doesn't matter how many temples they have, there's always full of people. Amazing. And everywhere you go, there's devotees distributing books in Vrindavan. As soon as you walk in, you get hit by people, devotees, by distributing books. Everywhere, book tables, prasadam tables. And it's so amazing. People, they don't need to go out to anywhere outside. It's all in our temple. You can sit, relax, look at the deity. So everything that you need to entertain yourself is there in our temple, spiritually. And Prabhupada wanted like that, so you don't need to go elsewhere. It's all available in our temples. All complete. So this is why here it says mention the Sankirtan Yajna. Everything is there within Krishna consciousness, all available. And they have the 24-hour kirtan. Anytime you come in, there's kirtan going on. And it just goes better and better throughout the day. Nighttime maybe less, but daytime it's just so full on. And even we sometimes say we want big kirtan, dancing. It's almost like that when you're sitting down. Because they're doing it full on, sitting down, and there are people dancing. And people, Indian people, they come from elsewhere, on the courtyard, before Sandhya Arati, they're all dancing. Hundreds, men, women dancing on the courtyard. So people come to dance. They're not shy about it, dancing in our temple. Because we emphasize people to dance for Krishna. If they can dance Bollywood and all this, why not they dance for Krishna? They understand that. They know it's for Krishna's pleasure. It pleases Krishna the most. And dancing for Krishna in Vrindavan, like the gopis, they dance for Krishna. So they have the same attitude. So even though it's packed, my understanding was there, I used to criticize, these people from Delhi and they're building houses. But if you dig down, these people are mad after Krishna, even now. You go outside, maybe people are in the shop drinking tea and buying saris, whatever. But if you go in our temple, it's more crowded. So people are just as enthusiastic to serve Krishna than outside, just as much. And they forget everything, men, women, all dancing in front of Krishna. How nice that is. And one day I went around all the temples, and they're following ISKCON. They also have one bhajan area, they sit and do kirtan, little pusharam stall, they're following. I remember in the 70s, they didn't have any of that. So our ISKCON is setting an example for all the temple in India, even here. These are Hindu temple, they're following our example. So this is what Acharya is meant to do. They're meant to make others Krishna conscious, whether through the temple, through your own example, in every way possible. We emphasize making others Krishna conscious. The way to make others Krishna conscious is to be Krishna conscious yourself, isn't it? And I remember in the 70s, I used to dance very high. And there was one American devotee, he used to jump very high. I used to copy him. And I remember his face. And that devotee was there. I couldn't recognize because he's much older. So then he showed photos of him. I said, that's the guy, that's you. I used to follow you. And he was there in the kirtan all the time. And the first day his leg got hurt from jumping. I kept going. I got all his details so we can keep in touch. So this is the whole idea. And I went to Varshana and Nandagram and Vindakund. Vindakund is now, it's run by ISKCON. We fund it. So we've done it off, so beautiful. They dress the Vrinda Devi just like ISKCON deity, so opulent. They do the offering, opulent offering. And I went to some other places, forget the name. And Govardhan Hill, Radhakund, Shamakund. So my friend, he's wealthy, so I called him, come over, spend some of your money for donations in the temple and like. So he came over from Hong Kong. He's with me for 3 days. So we went to Govardhan, one whole day, and so many cows roaming around and monkeys. So there was this guy selling, peanuts and cucumber and tomato. So I told him just buy the whole thing so he can go home, I can feed them. So he sold whole crates of tomato, like 3 full crates of tomato, and this cucumber, kakri, right? And peanuts, big sack of peanuts. The monkeys came from all over Vrindavan, wherever they were. We got videos of that. And he was really happy, and suddenly people are coming from other places with carts full of stuff, grass to feed the cows. Said, buy for me, I want to go home too. So we bought cart full of grass, just like they do in Gujarat, they feed the cows. We bought all the grass and everything. And all the cows, they start coming down the hill, wherever they were. So this is what we're meant to do, to please the Vaishnavas. Like it says here, charitable. What more charitable can you be than to feed the Brajvasis? Brajvasis is not just a human being. Those people living in Vrindavan, they're not all Brajavasis. They're coming from Delhi to do business there. The real Brajavasis in Vrindavan is the monkeys, I reckon, and the cows. So we fed them, and we saw some of the monkeys are standing on top of the other monkeys eating it. They're so happy. So this is what we meant to do, please the Vaishnavas. And Hindutva Maharaj, he gave a lecture, really good lecture. It was, he said he read from scriptures somewhere about the trees in Vrindavan. These trees are there, they are reciprocating with other trees. Their personalities. And some of those trees are really weird because they're like, crooked, and the barks are all twisted, they're coming down. You don't see this, they're unusual trees, not like normal trees. So those trees, they're paying their obeisances. Some of them are like a hunchback, coming down. People know that, so they can embrace them. They're very old trees, hundreds of years old. And they're all desire trees. And I was desiring, give me strength so I can serve Krishna, good health. I wasn't asking for love of God, but that's going to come anyway. So we have to pray to these places we go to. And give dakshina. It's mentioned here, give dakshina. This word is there. And I just only changed $500. I got this much money. Like, I couldn't put in the wallet anymore because they come in rupees. They're like, so much. But it's 200 rupees to go to Loi Bazaar from the temple. So I had my friend, that he had the scooter going around everywhere. We had so much fun. So, Jamuna River is not the same as 1975 anymore. It's all a lot of dusty and dirty. But somehow you have to really go deep inside your mind and vision, that transcendental vision, to really relish the holy places in India through your spiritual consciousness. That's why we read the Krishna book and the Dham. So really get into that mood. But if you want to criticize, that's going to be always there, finding fault. Even here we can find fault in each other. But to actually relish Krishna consciousness, we have to have the spiritual mindset, spiritual consciousness. Even if you, spiritually, everything there, like before, if you don't have that spiritual consciousness, even in that, so charged spiritually, you will not relish it. It has to start with your own consciousness. I believe that. And we can learn from the Brajavasis. We can learn from each other how to be Krishna conscious. On the way to Delhi, we saw they had really good roads. I can't believe it. Even better than here. Really 4 lanes each way. And in the middle of the 4 lanes, because they didn't have a barrier on the side, this big cow walking around. I don't know how they got in there. And everyone that's driving, they just go around it. They didn't hit it, they just go around. Maybe they're just lying in the middle, a 4 lane, and just chewing on something. It just can never happen here. Everything's allocated. The people are not worried. This has all come from that Krishna consciousness that we are born into, from culture, spiritual culture, so it's so deep. And there's so much food there. Everywhere you look, there's dukan, full of sweets and samosas and people frying puris. There's so much food. There's no scarcity. It says here, scarcity. So the scarcity is there when there is no sacrifice, according to this verse. India, there's no one walk around like Ethiopia or somewhere. You see all this, they show in the TV somewhere. They had no food a few years ago in Yemen. They were taking the leaf from the tree and they're grinding it for protein. You never find that in India. In India, there is no social security. Like you might find beggars. So those beggars are well fed. If you give them like $10, they won't take because they want 100 rupee, $100. They're all spoiled. Even beggars are wealthy there. You can give them charity if they don't misuse it. So, sacrifice is necessary for abundance. Always Krishna is giving because there is sacrifice. The demigods are giving. No one in Vrindavan will go hungry. Practically whole of India. Even the cows are well fed. I remember some cows from villages, you can see their bones. They didn't get food. But all those cows in Vrindavan, they're walking around like, kings. They're so muscly. So we have a Goshala run by ISKCON Goshala. We have two Goshala. One, we take care of all the unhealthy cows that got injured. There's one Goshala, Kurma Prabhu was taking care of that place. So we bought, on the way to that Goshala, we bought all this kakri and fruits and grapes and orange and this one fruit that looks like a melon. In Vrindavan they have this melon, the stripes, yellow stripes, very sweet. Actually I wanted to eat myself, they said no, it's for the cows. Took all those and cut them for all those cows. They love it. And all those cows are taken care of so nicely. So Prabhupada said, Goraksha, just simply by satisfying the cows, Krishna is satisfied. That's why Krishna's name is Govinda, one who pleases the cows. Some people think, how can you please cows you can get that you can please God? That's how it works. If I say how nice you are, how you're satisfied, then your parents will be satisfied. So, he likes my daughter, he gives her a gift and smile at her. Their parents will be happy. Similarly, if he please Krishna's devotee, Krishna will be pleased. It's not a secrecy. So demigods are pleased when there is sacrifice. So naturally, devotees are thankful because they know that it's all coming from Krishna. They're thankful. Thankful doesn't mean I thank you very much, but actually always giving in charity. If you can't give money, give service. If you can't give service, then surrender, give yourself. You have to make sacrifice, some sort of sacrifice for Krishna. In fact, it's all coming from Krishna. It belongs to Him. We are meant to give it back to Him. It's not ours. Just like we worship the Ganga. With Ganga water. We're giving back to Ganga. Isn't it? It's not that we own anything. We have it for His pleasure and we are simply giving back to Him and returning to Him through service. It's not ours. Nothing is ours. So those who really understand that it's all Krishna's property. Even the food we eat is because we have a digestive system that Krishna has given us, that we can digest the food we eat. So if we have a little bit of understanding through knowledge, then we will know it's because of His mercy we are surviving. What is the harm to thank someone? What is the harm of smiling at someone? What is the harm of giving a little bit of charity? Give them, why not? There's never a loss. Krishna says, Salpa mapesa dharmasya. Little bit of devotional service, little bit of is never lost. Just like in Vrindavan, it's there's so much abundance. So much abundance. And there's millions of people. Everyone get their food. No one loses out. Sometimes we think, oh, you're in a hurry to go. I'm going to miss out. Krishna knows. There's equal amount for everyone. I always give the example of a tree. You know, tree, they have so much fruit on a tree. The tree doesn't give fruits according to how many people in the house. There's abundance. When it rains, so much rain. Or only, just like we watering the plants, you only give what the plants required. There's so much water, just floods. God is not poor. But we have to deserve that. But even if we don't deserve, we're still giving. But it's mentioned here, we have to make that sacrifice in order to receive it. Why should Krishna give you if we don't serve Him? Simple as that. But it's still giving. You want in return, you have to deserve it. You have to pay for it. You have to work at it. It's not that Krishna is just there, give us our daily bread, making bread for you, putting butter for free. You have to give back. It's His anyway. That's the idea. But that has to come from understanding. The knowledge has to be there, that God exists. So in Vrindavan, people are mad after Krishna. Not that 5,000 years ago, there's gopis and the gopas and the cows and the brajabashis. It's even today like that. Even in the midst of all the modernization, building, hustle, bustle, rickshaws and all this, people are still crazy for God. Of course, there are going to be some people who are not after Krishna. They come for material things. But like I said, there are thousands of people flocking into the temple. They love Krishna. Young girls, young men, instead of going to the cinema, they're going to the temple. That's so nice to see that. Even if we have one huge temple, still it will be full because there's so many people. It's never enough that many people want to serve Krishna. We have to always see in a good way. Don't criticize. See in a good way. And all those devotees came from America. They are pioneering. They helped Prabhupada to open this temple, like this temple. Don't even think that I'm so-and-so, I'm so great. It's Prabhupada's hard work. We have these temples all over the world. We don't take credit for ourselves. We can only take credit for ourselves in a way that we still here be loyal to Him, keep serving Him. We can be in that attitude. Not that we are the doer. They did it, but we stay here to appreciate, to love them, to remain loyal to them. That's how. That's how my understanding is. Stay through thick and right through to the end. Wasn't easy in the beginning to open these temples. The devotees were talking about their realizations. It was super difficult. Those Prabhupada's servants, they were having a good time. They had to be up when Prabhupada rang the bell. It can be middle of the night. Prabhupada up all night translating. He wanted to eat hot puris and halwa at 9, 10 o'clock at night. He's not prepared to cook at that time. But if Prabhupada wanted, he have to have it cook for him. That's the servant's job. That's called surrender. If Guru wants, you have to give it. So they sacrifice. And they were telling, they were massaging Prabhupada 2 hours. And Prabhupada knew exactly. He had his eyes closed, but he was awake. He was tiptoeing out. He said, where are you going? Prabhupada was awake. He was an ordinary person, like go to sleep. And then up at night, all night, he slept only for a little bit. He worked more hard than anybody. He worked more hard than any young people. It's not that he was telling his disciple, go and do this, and he was sitting back. No. It wasn't for him. Those Western devotees, they didn't know how to deal with Indians those days. They will cheat them left and right. Prabhupada was checking them, training them how to deal with these people. In fact, those marble they got in Vrindavan, they were cheated. Prabhupada said, this is not marble, this is something else. And they said, no, it is. So they had to get new proper marble. They were cheating Prabhupada. So there was so much work in the beginning to establish the Hare Krishna movement. The three main temples in India, Vrindavan, Mumbai, and Mayapur. And if you read about it, you can talk to those devotees who helped build those temples. It was so difficult. Same here. Our Melbourne temple tried to get this property. People don't want to give to ISKCON. India was the same. People didn't like the foreigners because those days Prabhupada didn't have any Indian disciples, all foreigners. He brought them from America. They didn't like them. Vrindavan, they said, they're militias, they're not brahmanas, so how can you give them brahmanas? There was so much criticism. Prabhupada knew the future. You see how it's going to be. And now, ISKCON is the leading temple in Vrindavan. They're all following ISKCON. You can go to, I went to all the main temples. When you come to ISKCON, you can hardly walk in, it's so crowded. I went to Radharaman, it's one of the famous temples in Vrindavan. But it's a tiny place. But it's an amazing temple. But it all depends on the purity and hard work and sincerity of his disciples. Gold is gold wherever it comes from. So those devotees that came from America in the beginning to assist Prabhupada and to build this, construct these temples, assist him in preaching in India, they were pure by the Prabhupada's mercy. Guru Kripa, mercy of Prabhupada. And the same here. I prayed to Krishna Balaram. From here, before I went, I said, please, I'm going to Vrindavan, please keep me healthy. Because every time I go sick. And the prayers came, he answered my prayer. I didn't get sick to the last day. I also followed it inside. And then the last day is the Sunday, 6th, Ram Navami. In the evening I got sick. The next day I was leaving anyway. Very sick. Like runs and throughout the day. I lying on the bed. So the devotees made a water bottle with electrolyte. Don't eat, just drink that. So I drank and I broke my fast after coming here the next day. I said, I'm going to break my fast. It's Melbourne Prasadam. So I felt good. Sometimes people say, oh, it's too heavy. It depends on your consciousness. Of course, if you overeat you get sick. Even this prasadam is actually very pure. So there's so many ways of seeing things in Krishna consciousness. So the idea is to be charitable. The idea is to see things through Krishna conscious viewpoint. So if you go to ISKCON temple, you know this is the work of Prabhupada. This is ISKCON. Different from other places because we have a very good standard because our standard is set by Prabhupada. That standard is cleanliness. Very clean temple. One of the main thing of our temple is that people are People become very attracted by its cleanliness and the beautiful deity sets, temple dresses of the deity, and prasadam. Had to be first class. So, Ambarish Maharaj, he was setting that standard. He was feeding the brahmanas, giving them dakshina. He was making sure the citizens are satisfied, that they do their duty, that they is properly sacrificed, are maintained. So Krishna is satisfied. This is not just a ceremonial thing. This is, Prabhupada says here, is devotional service when in connection to Krishna. That's why Ambarish Maharaj is a great devotee. Not only he himself is Krishna conscious, but he is making others Krishna conscious. That's a perfect devotee. Not they tell and they sit back. They are also there, along with everyone, doing the service together in association. And you can read the Bhagavatam in India. Exactly, you open the pages of the Bhagavatam and you walk on the street, you will see exactly that's happening in the Bhagavatam in India, particularly. All in the books, all manifesting the context of the Bhagavatam. You can see it all around you, the predictions of the Bhagavatam. You see in India, people may be very wealthy, very rich, coming from Delhi, but they take their shoe off, they leave their car, they wear simple clothes, they go to the temple. They still know underneath that the duty is to serve Bhagwan, is to serve Krishna, is devotional service. They know that. It's to not honor, it's to not offend the Vaishnava. They know that. They may be fighting themselves, but when they come to the temple, they're respectful to the sadhus. They know the principle of devotional service. So therefore, India has that culture. But that's because it's coming from Krishna, coming from Lord Ram. It's in the Bhagavatam from that time. And this is why Krishna appeared there. We have that culture in us, devotional culture, that we have to give others. And this is why Prabhupada opened all the temples all over the world. Here, in Australia or Europe, America, to give that, share that knowledge with ignorant people of the West. Whatever it is in India, if there's a problem, they go to Krishna, please solve, please help. Like the gopis in Vrindavan, they don't know. They're not big scholars or scientists or anything like that. They just know Krishna. They go to Krishna for any problems. They're Krishna conscious already, but they know that they should turn to Krishna for any help. So it was really nice going there, and I feel purified going to India. You can all know that same thing. When you go there, you come back, you feel really amazing. I went to Vrindavan after 30 years. Because I go to India, maybe Gujarat or elsewhere, but I didn't go to Vrindavan. Because the last time I was in Vrindavan was long time ago. So much change. But still, I dig down, I can feel that mood is still there. Yeah. I remember our time in Vrindavan, we could have a program without any much people around. I can just jump in, lead a kirtan. There's just so many people there who want to sing, which is good. The more, there's better. It's not just for us. Give others a chance. We can all serve Krishna. That is satisfying Krishna, when there's more of us are doing it. Sangha, association. When you do on your own, it's not the same when you're doing together with others. The more, the better. This is good. So there's no jealousy. I'm doing it, you're not doing it. But if we do all together in that mood of devotion, that pleases Krishna. Whether you're doing it or I'm doing it, we all do it together. One is listening, one is hearing. It's the same. It's all for Krishna's pleasure. So, there's no scarcity of anything. But make sure we have to have spiritual things first, then material things followed by it. Because material things, they come by Krishna's mercy. Spiritual things are the main thing. Material things, people worry too much material. Without Krishna, then you have to work for it. But if you depend on Krishna, Krishna will provide. Without Krishna, you just have to work for it. But then ultimately it comes from Krishna. But if you're Krishna conscious, He will provide. But you have to have that faith. Isn't it? By His mercy, our body is working also. But if you think, it's my effort, it's by my effort I'm doing it, then okay, then you work hard. But you have to add Krishna. Then when you add Krishna, then He will help you to get even material things. But you have to have that understanding to thank Krishna, to love Krishna, to serve Krishna with devotion. And then Krishna says, I will protect you, do not worry. But if you don't have that faith, you think it becomes your endeavor. It's not just your endeavor, it's Krishna has to bless you also. Of course you need to, if you sit back all day, food will not come, but you have to work. At the same time, you know that is Krishna's mercy. So it's both ways. So demigods, they give because demigods are Krishna's devotee. Their job is to give someone who is praying to Krishna more. Their job is to see the sacrifices going on, the maintaining religious dharma principles are maintained. Their job is to give the such people more. That's why Prabhupada says here, desert countries, there still is food there. All over the world, there is scarcity now because there is no sacrifice to God. But it's not that this food is not there. His food is there because He gave us enough, but just like if you don't pay your bill, they'll cut off your electricity. They'll cut off your water. You can live on the road. So you have to sacrifice Krishna. He's giving us sunlight, the moonlight, vegetation, water. This is ultimately coming from Krishna. Not from you go to the supermarket, it doesn't just come from there. It's coming from the field. Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyad annasambhava. Jagat bhavati parjanya yagya karma samudbhava. As just mentioned in this purport. That through yagya, that the food grains are coming. Because the rain's coming. Farmers are working to grow it. You go to work and pay for it. Similarly, you have to make the same effort to please Krishna. Spiritually. Give back to Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna, by associating with devotees, by performing devotional service, you're giving back. Offer food to Krishna. Thank you, Krishna, for giving this. Sarir Avidaja. We say the prayers. Thanking Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, you were talking about how in Vrindavan everyone is like mad for Krishna. They dance like anything for him. Even when we went to Vrindavan, we witnessed how they used to cry for Krishna. But I was wondering, they don't follow any of our regulated principles, or they don't even chant. But us, we're doing chanting, we're following the principles, but still it becomes like a ritual, and we're unable to cry for Krishna. So why does that happen?
Oh, those people in Vrindavan, this is why I said we have to be careful not to criticize. We don't know who they are. Prabhupada, the two dogs were coming and bugging the devotees. One devotee told this story. And they're going, hey, 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 and the dogs are not going. So Prabhupada took one chapati, broke in half, gave in each. The dog went. And Prabhupada said, never know who they are. Those principles are for us to follow. You follow it. If they don't follow, that's not your problem. Of course, we implement it, but don't force on people. They will follow when they see you are following it. They see you are very happy. You are, people are watching us. Why? Already all those, in beginning, all our temples are very, very quiet. You go there now, packed. They're impressed by ISKCON. Many of them becoming devotees. Of course, it will take time. But first we have to show that example. It's not that it's not happening. So they're not following, we don't know who they are. They could be demigods just coming there to say us, how we behave. So we can't be so judgmental. We have to be careful, especially in the holy dham. Okay, they are coming from Delhi, Agra, to go to Vrindavan. But whatever, at least they're coming to the holy dham, not to somewhere else. So we have to see always in a good way, and see in a good way, and say good things about others. Appreciating. They're crowded. This is because you're coming from Melbourne, there's hardly anyone here. And it's crowded for you. You feel, I'm crushed here. But at least they're doing it in the temple to see Krishna. That's okay. And in fact, millions of people, you never hear they're getting crushed. Maybe, but in our temple we haven't heard anyone getting crushed to death. Even if it does, it's not a big thing in India. They just throw the body in the Jamuna and chant Hare Krishna. It's not like, close the temple. Worship will still go on. They know they want to God. So, they may not following seemingly the four principles we follow. But how do we know they're not following? But we have to follow. We are in Sampradaya. We have strict rules that we have to follow. But they may be following or they're not, but at least they're there. And our job is to follow ourselves, and then gradually they'll follow. That's how it works. Oh, you're not following, like ISKCON. They will. Like I said, when I first came, the foreigners came to India, people didn't know ISKCON that much. Now, all our temples are packed with Indians, ISKCON devotees. So they are following. Of course, not everyone's going to follow ISKCON rules overnight. It's going to take time. But don't worry. How long? No. Just like when Prabhupada went to America. He could have said, you all are ignorant fools. Follow the four principles. But he took time to implement those rules gradually. He didn't criticize. Prabhupada was chanting Hare Krishna. They saw Swamiji so pure, sincere. They love him. And then they followed him, became his disciple. It takes time. But you can't expect a result straight away. First you have to love them, give them, to cook for them, Prabhupada. Elderly men. Sounds just Pisharam. They just want to be Swami, Prabhupada, because they love him. So like that. Any other questions? I asked your brother to give me a little bit of prasadam. He gave so much. We couldn't finish. We had to share with all the chokidar in the temple and stuff. So, it's not that Krishna is personally going to give you. I love that devotee so much. He jumped from the altar, hug you and give you. He does it through his devotees. If we can't do it, who is going to do it? We are his agents. Krishna works through his devotees. We have to set the example. Krishna is always there setting example. He's always there. If you love Krishna, then we have to be an agent for Krishna, agent for Prabhupada, agent for Vaishnavas. We are the one. It's not going to be miracle. A tap on your head with a conch. Suddenly you have 4 arms. You're not touching the floor anymore. No. It doesn't work like that. We have to deserve it. We have to sacrifice. We have to work at it. If you expect the results. You chant the japa here. It's not a machine. It's Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Use the apps. You have to work at it. You have to chant the mantra perfectly with your tongue, with your body, using it. Kaya mana vakya, words and the mind and the body, fully observe in Krishna. It's not a machine. You have to use the devotion, attitude to attract Krishna. Bhaktyamam avijanati, through bhakti. Everything has to be effort behind. The love, the essence of Krishna consciousness is to come to the point of love, bhakti. It's not a mechanical thing. So to understand these things, that we have to understand what Ambarish Maharaj did here, what Prabhupada did here. Their principle of presenting Krishna consciousness, how they did it, how to attract others. It's not that we don't know. Examples are here in the books, isn't it? It's not that demigod's going to come down. Here you are. We have the process. We are the demigod. Work for Prabhupada. He showed us the process. We are the agents. Okay? Any more? Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna.